much like weather, the stock market has seasons. It's not always summertime. There's also fall. There's winter, which is what the stock market feels like right now. And then there's spring, and we get back to summer. So I'm going to walk you through how to think about these seasons in the stock market and how you should be tempering your expectations according to what's going on with the season of the stock market. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, power traders? Welcome to the Money Markets and Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, stock market coach and option trader, Jason Brown. And, I live here in Michigan, and we have been having some crazy weather. We've had some 70-degree random days. Then we've dropped back down to 20s and 30s, shot up to 50s, 60s, great sunshine. Next thing you know, we get snow the next day. And so the weather has been pretty crazy, but so has the stock market. And it got me thinking about the seasons that we go through in Michigan and really thinking about how those seasons relate and compare to the stock market. And so what I want to do is I want to set or have you think about setting your intentions and your expectations for the stock market based on what season we're in. But if you don't understand what season we're in, or that the seasons change with respect to the stock market, the same way that they change in life, from winter, spring, summer to fall, then back to winter, then you can really get caught off guard in the stock market, and you can really get caught off guard with what your expectations are and what your strategy should be with respect to the stock market. So let's break down each season. You may not have each season wherever you live at your part in the world, but here in Michigan, that's one of the beautiful things, or depending on who you ask, it might be the gift and the curse. But most people love that we have all four seasons. We have winter, spring, summer, fall. And so when you look at the stock market, if we start with summer, let's just start with summer. If you look at the stock market, we came off a season that was summer. And when you think about summer, you think about the sun is shining, everybody's outside playing, everyone's washing their cars, everyone's going to the beach, taking vacations. Everyone is just enjoying life. There's not much to complain about. And even if there was, you go outside, you're like, it's just so beautiful. And so similar to the stock market, we've just come off a summer season in the stock market. And in the stock market, you came off of COVID-19. Now, COVID-19 was initially a winter, but we'll talk about winter in a second. But once everything sold off, we went into the summer season where everything just basically went up for the last year. It didn't matter what you bought, didn't matter when you bought it. There was stimulus in the stock market. There was, or should I say, stimulus in the economy. There was low interest rates. So, everyone could get a house or borrow money for virtually basically nothing. You had delayed student loan or deferred student loan payments, and in some cases, student loans wiped out. And so that means people who initially paying $1,000, $2,000, $1,500, all of a sudden found themselves with an extra $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000. They also found themselves in the position to borrow money at a super low interest rate, virtually nothing, and maybe you even found yourself getting paid from the government, getting cut a stimulus check, getting cut double in an unemployment check. And so there was a lot of money being poured into the market, or to the economy, I should say, which then also supercharged the stock market, because what do people do when they get money? They go buy things. They go shopping. They buy houses. When they buy a house, what do? They want to furnish it. All these things. They want to remodel. So you saw Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, you name it. Every stock was pretty much shooting up. And so that was like summer. There was not much to be upset about. It's like life is good. There's stimulus, low interest rates, deferred student loan payments, right? All of these things was creating a summer-like experience in the stock market. And so everyone was happy. Even your random next door neighbor, your random friend who's never invested in the stock market in their life is just like, I'm in the stock market. I'm making a killing. Everything is just going up. Let's get this money. And so everybody thought they were experts in the stock market. And more importantly, everyone was feeling good, even if they weren't an expert. Even if they've never invested before, everyone was feeling good. And so during that time, you were encouraged to buy anything because you just couldn't lose. But much like the weather here in Michigan, summer doesn't last forever. Just like the stock market doesn't just go up forever. Sure, it could go up for a long period of time. Sure, it can go up long term. But inevitably, you start to notice the seasons are changing. And what does that look like here in Michigan? When summer starts to end, the next season to come in is fall. And when fall comes in, the leaves start to change colors and start to go from green to these bright oranges and yellow colors. And they actually look quite beautiful. But the reality is the leaves are dying. The trees are dying. The grass is dying, at least temporarily, right? It means that you can visually see that something is changing in the environment. The weather's not getting as hot as it used to, and it's starting to get a little bit cooler in the daytime, okay? And that's the same thing that happens to the stock market. You see, the leaves start to change in the stock market as well. You're like, these stocks aren't going as high as they were. In fact, they're starting to have a tough time breaking through a certain level. And then, in fact, it's starting to get a little bit cold, meaning the market isn't running hot. Everything that you touch and buy isn't just going up anymore. And so you're starting to notice that transition. And wintertime doesn't just come in, boom, snow. It transitions to fall, meaning the leaves start to change, starts to get a little bit of cold. You might need to put a jacket on now. Instead of riding with the top down, you're riding with the top up. Maybe you're starting to turn the heat on. Maybe you're starting to do bonfires because it's getting a little cold outside. It's the same thing with the stock market. You got to start paying attention to when we're transitioning from summer to fall, because fall is that transitional period before winter. And so fall in the stock market, it's like saying, hey, pay attention. Momentum is changing. Things aren't as easy or good as they used to be, but there's still some money to be made. But this is a season or a time where your expectations should start to change from buy anything. I can make money just by buying anything, buy and hold. You don't have to do much research. You start to transition into starting to say, maybe I should take profit. You start to be a little bit more picky or choosy about which stocks you want to be in because something doesn't feel quite right. You're starting to pay attention and you're starting to say, maybe I should take profits. Maybe I should bring the troops home. Maybe I should take some money off the table, take some risk off the table, start to close out these positions. Only if you're paying attention. Because the next season that's going to come in right after fall, which is a little bit of what we're starting to see, is winter. And when winter gets here, what does everyone do in Michigan in winter, or most places in the winter? You start to hunker down. You start to say, let's stay inside. Let's not travel. The roads are slippery, which means what? They're hazardous, higher chance for accidents. Maybe not as fun to be outside, a little bit of discomfort because it's cold outside. You got your hat, your scarf on, you have your gloves on. You're starting to heat up the car before you go outside, maybe to defrost the ice from your windshield. Okay. That's very different from summer where you were just partying, going outside with shorts and having a good time. Okay. And so that's how the stock market works as well. There's these seasons of winter. And what does winter look like in the stock market? You have a Russian-Ukraine war that comes out of nowhere. All right. That's a part of winter. You start to have companies pulling out of an entire country. McDonald's says, we're not going to sell McDonald's in Russia. Nike, we're going to close our operations in Russia. You have Apple, we're going to close our operations in Russia. You have Facebook, Twitter, the social media companies starting to say, hey, we're going to shut down our social media platforms in this entire country. And so you start to see a season of winter coming in where you're going to see lost revenue. You're going to see a whole country that you used to sell to that you can't sell to anymore. You're going to see a country that you used to get, oil from, or different things like that now is being cut off from being a source of heating and fuel, which then starts to increase gas prices, heating prices for your home, gas prices for your car, for your boat, etc., for running your factory. You start to see those prices start to go up. And so you start to see this winter come in. You start to see the federal government said, hey, we're going to stop stimulus. In fact, we're going to start raising interest rates as well, because we got to get a hold on inflation. And so you have this like perfect storm that starts to come in, and you start to have this winter like Michigan experience. It's cold. You got to think before you go outside. You got to bundle up before you go outside. It's more risky to be out there driving because of the snow and the slipperiness and the ice. It's the same thing in the stock market. We went from party time, summer, buy everything, make this money. Then we went to fall, where it's like something doesn't quite seem right. You can tell the environment's changing. The leaves are changing, starting to get a little chilly outside. And then boom, you transition out of fall and you start to say, it's wintertime. We don't know what this war is going to mean. We don't know what this inflation is going to mean. We don't know what cutting off an entire country like Russia is going to mean. We don't know what higher interest rates is going to mean. And so we have this uncertainty that now puts you in a situation where it's no longer as exciting to jump into the stock market and maybe just buy any stock, because the stocks are kind of down right now. It's not as easy to just be like, buy anything, everything's going up. Well, not everything's going up. Only certain things are going up. Certain things are kind of standing still, and then certain things are falling. So what should your expectation be when we're in a winter time of the stock market? When you're in the wintertime, you need to be thinking about capital preservation, account preservation, meaning not blowing up your account. You see, some people think every strategy or every day in the market, you should be making money. Well, there are some seasons of the stock market where it's not always about making money. Sometimes it's about not losing any money. Sometimes it's not all about hitting home runs and like, I'm making $100,000. Sometimes it's like, I'll take that $1,000 profit and I'm going to be happy with that. Because number one, I didn't lose any money. Number two, I still was able to squeeze out a small profit from the market. Maybe not the big profits that I was squeezing out during summertime, but it makes sense, which is why I want you thinking about your expectations from the stock market the same way you have expectations for seasons, for the weather changing. All right. When it's summertime, I expect to be on a motorcycle, in a convertible, on a boat, having a ton of fun. When it's wintertime, I don't expect the same thing. I don't expect the same level of enjoyment, the same level of fun. It's the same thing with the stock market. When we have so much uncertainty, confusion in the market, you're doing yourself a disjustice to come to the market and think you can still party and make the same amount of money with the same amount of ease that in the winter in the stock market that you can make in the summer of the stock market, when everything is going good. There's no bad news. You got stimulus, low interest rates, deferred student loan payments, and anything that you can name to prop up the economy. That is going to be a much different market to invest, trade in, make money in, feel good about, versus when you're coming into the winter. Now, here's the good news. Winter doesn't last forever. All right. Winter didn't last forever when 9/11 happened and some planes flew into the building. Winter didn't last forever when Trump had the China trade war and the whole tariffs was going back and forth. Winter didn't last forever when there was the real estate bubble burst. It doesn't last forever. It is a season. That's why these are seasons. They're not permanent. They come and they go. And so after winter comes spring. And what happens in spring? The trees start to sprout leaves again. The grass is starting to turn green again. The snow has melted. How does that equate to the stock market? The snow has melted. That means we start to come out on the other side of a Russia-Ukraine war. That's the snow melting. That's that issue starting to disappear. At some point, we get on the other side of inflation and things get back to normal, or we have a new normal. That's the snow melting. That issue starts to dissipate. We forget about it. It's no longer at the forefront of our mind. The grass starting to grow again, the trees starting to sprout leaves again. That is new companies starting to pop up that are those are existing companies that are finding a way to make money in the new environment and reemerge as a leader in their category. They found a way to get control of their energy costs. They found a way to navigate the new interest rate increases. They found a way to navigate new employee salary increases. Whatever the case may be, they're starting to turn a new leaf. They're starting to sprout and show promise again and show that the winter is behind us, spring is upon us. And when that starts to happen, we should be prepared to start putting more capital to work. We should be prepared to start taking more risks because it's more likely that we're going to transition into a summertime experience and we'll experience some type of bull market or rally or positive effect, or at least an ease of determining which stocks we should invest in, because more things will be going up as more companies are navigating a new environment and as more of the issues are behind us and started to melt away like the winter snow. And so it may feel like winter right now in your stock trading account. Maybe you made a lot of money during spring and summer. And then in the fall, you weren't paying attention. And then winter hit, you gave all that money back and you started to lose some money. But I'm here to tell you, as long as you don't quit, winter doesn't last forever. And when you're in the winter, you want to think about preserving your trading account, not necessarily always about how much money can you make, but making sure you're focused on how much you can lose or how much you don't want to lose, and not losing any money or as much money so that you can survive and get to spring, because you know that these issues will come to pass, because they always do. And you want to make sure you still have a bank account there to live to trade another day once spring and summer starts to roll around. Now, there are strategies that you can use to make money in the winter when stocks are falling. But if you don't have those strategies, you don't know how to use covered calls, you don't know how to use puts, you don't know how to use spreads, this is where having the right education and the right information can be helpful, because to some people, the wintertime, they can make just as much money as they can in the summertime and have fun doing it and make the money faster, because we all know that stocks fall faster than they rise. But depending on your level of skill, your level of trading, investing, your level of strategy, number one, you want to understand what season we're in. Number two, you want to make sure you're applying or have the right expectations from the market from that season. And then number three, you want to make sure you have the right expectations from the market from that season with respect to your skill level. If you don't know how to make money from stocks falling in the winter, then your expectation should be, let's take less trades. Let's work on preserving our capital, not hitting home runs. If you know how to make money from stocks falling, then your expectations may be from the market is, now it's time to get paid. This is where we eat, because we know how to make money from stocks falling and we know that they fall faster. If you know how to do spreads, covered costs, safer strategies, your expectations from the market in the wintertime may be, these strategies will carry me through and give me a little bit of income while we're waiting for things to turn around and things to change. So I want you to take inventory of your skill set, the strategies you have, and ask yourself, number one, what season are we in? So take inventory of what season that we're in. And number two, ask yourself, look at your inventory of skills, your inventory of strategies, and say, do I have the strategies to survive this? And I want you to act accordingly, which is either sit on the sidelines, get the right education, or deploy the education that you have with the expectation that we're in wintertime. We're in capital preservation mode, or we're in take small profit mode, or we're in look for some stocks that are getting totally crushed, and let's ride them all the way down with put options. So I hope this has been helpful for thinking about how to navigate the market, how to navigate the seasons. And I'm stock market coach and option trader Jason Brown signing off saying, remember, you never go broke taking a profit. I'll see you on the next episode.